Since this is a national open, we are running the categories that we would normally run at a divisional event. Included in that are the .90 categories. The 1090 cars are about to come out, 990, 890, that'll be the different indexes. So instead of running your car down the racetrack and then dialing it in, you've got to make your car adjust to hit the number. In these categories, you'll see most of the cars lurch off the starting line and then just kind of drop back a little bit. They utilize a device called a throttle stop that is exactly what it sounds like. It closes the throttle for a preset amount of time, and then it opens it back up. And since you are, in essence, hitting the tire twice, I always do a little bit of grooming out there before they bring them out. You'll see what it's all about right here as the first pair roll around the corner. The index should come up on the scoreboards that says 10.90, and at this point, it's basically target practice. You want to try to get as close to the 1090 as you can. When you get into eliminations later on, 1091 is better than 1089. It's kind of like the price is right. You want to get as close as you can without going under. You'll get the hang of this pretty quick. Jay Schmid. What do you think of that 57 Chevy? If you tell me something's wrong with that thing, I'm going to tell you something's wrong with you. Jan Christensen, the Z28, over on the right side. Super Gas, final call. You should be in the lane. Super Gas, final call. Super Comp, you're on standby, and you will not be standing by long. There you go. You see the 57 kind of drops back. Now watch how hard it charges. That's a big block under the hood of that thing to get to the finish line about the same time as Z28. They both go a little too quick. 1082 for Jan, 1085 for Jay. Well, you make adjustments and you move on. Coming up next, Brad Vingy on the left side. Super Comp. Oh, attention in the pits. Super Comp. I told you you wouldn't be standing by long. You are no longer standing by. Come on down. You're the next contestants at the Titanium Strip. Brad Vingy on the left side. Jess Dale on the right. Jess is the winner yesterday. Yay, winner. Wow, Vingy was up on a converter for a long time. Jess Dale, 500-inch Dodge under the hood. Now, Brad is obviously having problems. He's not going to run the 1090. How about 10.903? Click, bang. That's like coming out first thing in the morning and drawing the first arrow out of the quiver and putting it right in the bullseye. Dead on 3. 1793 for Brad. He's going to be hoping whatever the issue is with that he can fix. It almost was like it went on the throttle stop and never came off. Was the air bottle on? I have experience in not turning on the air bottle. Matter of fact, I have a lot of experience in not turning on the air bottle. I once did it 3 runs in a row, which caused everybody to tell me, A, I was an idiot, and B, after that, I never had to worry about that again because every time I got in the car, 47 people came by to make sure the air bottle was turned on. Meanwhile, Tony Hopkins on the left side, Dave Wakefield on the right. Where do they got RM Holmes car? 55 Chevy, another one, like absolutely spectacular automobile. The 8th Street Automotive Machine. That's a 71 Chevelle at Wakefield. Down to the stripe they go, 1088. That's pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. And that's Dave Wakefield's number. Tony Hopkins not too far off at 1086. Here comes Chris Ormsby on the left side. Todd Sims in the right. A couple of Novas that are separated by 2 years and a full generation. Gen 2, that's the red car. Gen 3, that's the black car. I don't know, what do you like better? You like the cowl hood or you like the scooped hood? Now watch this. Ormsby going to get out there and throw out the anchor. Look at the difference in speed at the finish line. 89 miles an hour, 10.903 for Ormsby. 146 miles an hour for Todd Sims, 10.895. Now the beauty of this, driving the stripe, if you're out in front, you want to be out in front by 1.5 inches. If you're behind, you want to be behind by 14 car lengths. And when there's a 50-mile-an-hour difference in speed at the finish line, Let the games begin. Dan Parsons now on the left side. Fred Hoffman on the right side. As they turn him loose. One practice run, and then we're going racing. Super comp, we need you in lanes. How about 10.900 at 131 miles an hour for Dan Parsons? Fred goes 1086 at 130 miles an hour. So 3 drivers now have run 10.90 something with a mile an hour spread of about 50 between the fastest and the slowest. Curtis Munson left. Alan Loftus right. Munson misses a green light by 1,000th of a second. Let's see if we can add to our 1090 inventory. We've already got 3 of them on the shelf. 1087 to a 1093. If we average that, that would be 1090, right? We got 3 above, 3 behind. Can we do that? Is it okay if I did? Okay. No? You're no fun. Joyce O'Hara now rolling up. The Swift tool machine here on the left side, and Warren Jacobson. Now, Warren's interesting because he runs one of the bracket classes and dials 1090. So even though most of the cars, when he's running the other class, just keep an eye out for that Nova over in the right lane when it comes back later. And I'm trying to remember if he runs Sportsman or Pro? Pro, I think. Anyway, he'll be dialed on 1090, and it'll be throttle stop. He runs Super Pro? Okay, make it Super Pro. 1086, 141 miles an hour for Warren, 1094. See, that would be another one, be an average, 1.4 above, 1.4 below. Now it's going to be Ray Carlson in the Barracuda and Zach Rice in his Ka-chow, the race car. .009 on the reaction timer comes up for Zach, 10.906. That's the 4th 1090 that we've had out there, and that's the best overall package. 1091 comes up for Ray Carlson. I do believe this final car in category, it's Herman Chan. Top comp 3 and 4. Attention at a bit. Top comp, lanes 3 and 4, please. Top comp, lanes 3 and 4. 1081, final car down the old track there in Super Street at 128 miles an hour.
1090, the magic number or the goal number, if you will. An index class. Now, if you're not familiar with the NHRA super classes, for the most part, most of these cars are going to be making use of a device called a throttle stop. Essentially, the driver's going to keep his foot to the floor the whole time. However, there's a device called a throttle stop that's going to, well, interrupt the gas pedal application, if you will. Shortly after they leave the starting line, then a little while after that, you'll hear it come back on, full power. And what they're trying to do is take some power away from it early to make it run exactly 1090, while it's capable of going much quicker than that. So Jay Schmidt, Tower Lane, absolutely gorgeous 57 Chevy out of Port Orchard, Washington. And Jace O'Hara, little first-gen Nova. And O'Hara does not get the win. I thought it was a sure thing. Jace O'Hara was 006. Jay Schmidt's light started with a 1. At the finish line, O'Hara takes a little over 0.2 of a second at the stripe to find himself under by 3 hun. So Jay Schmidt coming back for round number 2. Now, Chris Ormsby and Curtis Munson. Chris Ormsby not making use of a throttle stop. You're going to see him start to get on the brakes. Load the thing up, try find the 1090. That is tough to do He allows Curtis Munson to pass right on by him. Curtis Munson getting to the stripe first by 18 thousandths of a second to come up 10.91 on the 1090 index. Ormsby had the starting line advantage, just could not make it work at the finish line. Now Herman Chan and Todd Sims. So go ahead and make a call now for Super Comp. Super Comp, we need you to the lanes, please. Super Comp, come on down. So Herman Chan with the win over Todd Sims. Herman Chan had about a 500ths advantage on the starting line. Put it to good use. 1097 on the 1090, good enough to get the job done. Herman Chan at the stripe first by 6 thou. Now Jan Christensen and Brad Vinge, couple of Camaros. Couple of green lights. Oh, Vinge trucking in the right lane. He gets there first. 1092 on the 1090. Christensen 1096 on the 1090. So Brad Vinge will be back for round number 2. Now Alan Loftus in the right lane. Fred Hoffman in the left lane. Hoffman behind the wheel of his Camaro. Alan Loftus gets the win light. 1095 on the 1090 is a success story. Loftus to the stripe first by 27. Had a 51 thou starting line advantage. Now Dave Wakefield and Jess Dale. Jess Dale. His 1970 Dodge Dart. 499 cubic inch big block Dodge. Wakefield, Tower Lane in the Chevelle. Wakefield turns it red by 8 thou. Jess Dale basically gets a time trial here in round number 1. Comes up 1091. Nothing wrong with that. Now Ray Carlson and Warren Jacobson. So it's Jacobson left side, Carlson in the right lane. One of these drivers with a sizable starting line advantage. You know, if you call 168 thou sizable, Warren Jacobson's your winner. He was 001 on the tree. Ray Carlson was 169. At the finish line, Jacobson there, plenty ahead. To go 1095 on the 1090. Off the gas and coasting. Now, Tony Hopkins will take on Zach Rice. Zach Rice in Kachow, the race car. That first gen Blue Nova you see in the right lane. Hopkins. That cool looking 55 Chevy. For RM Homes and Village Transmission. So last pair we had 168 thousandths of a second separating them. Now we have 1,000th. Zach Rice moving on. He left second with a 003 light. Hopkins was 1 thou better with a 002. But at the finish line, it is Hopkins under by 4 and Rice above by 4. So Zach Rice coming back for round 2. Now, number 1 qualifier, Dan Parsons. I do recall him going 1090 with a 0. He gets the bye here in round number 1. So again, we have made the call for Super Comp. Super Comp, you guys should be either at the lanes or on your way there. So Parsons on his freebie goes 1090, dead on with an 8.
Super Street, and here we go. Curtis Munchin, Jay Schmidt, 2 for 1. Winner of this one, straight to the semis. Red light start for Jay Schmidt. Curtis Munson just won 2 rounds before he even moved. That's when you know you're living right, when you haven't even moved and you already won 2 rounds. 1093 to 1094, the mouth down the racetrack, but it was that 33 red light. It was the only number that really mattered. Dan Parsons and Alan Loftus coming at you right now. Parsons, the quality racing team. Loftus, well, it says Loftus on the side of his truck, so that worked out pretty well there. No red lights here. They're going to have to figure this one out down at the other end somewhere. Close to the 1090s you can go without running under. Watch for the green light on the side of the scoreboard. It says breakout, right lane. Win light, left lane. Parsons making it happen. 1091, taking care of it too quick. 1088, Herman Chad now, Warren Jacobson. As we try to figure out who's going to come back and race Jess Dale. Somebody's going to come back and race Jess Dale. I'm almost positive. Semi-sure. Feeling pretty confident. Top Comp, come on down. Super Comp, you should be here. Top Comp, you should be coming in behind. Red light by less than a thou. Ouch. Herman Chan for the win. 1095. 126. 1096 comes up for Jacobson, but the only number he's going to remember is less than a thou. 0.00007. Brad Vinci and Zach Rice. Now we find out who's going to come back and run Dan Parsons later on in the day. The BC Racing Machine of Brad, or the Ka-chow of Zach. They both get off the starting line green, dashing down to the quarter-mile stripe. 10.902 for the win. Zach pulled it off. Brad Venji, 006 on a reaction timer, could not close the deal. Got him a big bite down at the stripe, broke out. And that cost him. Here's Jess Dale. Jess was yesterday's winner. And since we had 9 cars coming back, the way the ladder worked out, Jess got the free one. He's going to come back and run Mr. Chan a little bit later on in the day. Goes 1089. After leaving the starting line early. What, you guys don't have stamps up here?
Well, we do, but
okay.
we also have a postal service that's in the middle of a walkout right now, and, you know.
Oh, really?
Trust me, you want to come get your check.
Got it. So the checks in the mail would be a real excuse up here.
Absolutely it would.
All right. Curtis Munson, 5 cars left. He's about to solo his way into the semifinals. Red light and all. 1093 on the scoreboard, and that makes it official. Dan Parsons and Zach Rice coming up now. This one is big. 2 for 1. Winner goes straight to the final. And you get to pass, go, and collect $200. Or whatever it is, 75 cents. Both drivers get off on the green. Throttle stops do their thing, and now 500 cubic inches of Dodge and 500 plus cubic inches of Chevrolet charge down to the 1320. There's your winner. 1089 for the breakout by 0.03 of a second. Parsons is going to run for the trophy. I'm sorry. Yes, Parsons is going to run for the trophy. He goes 1092 at 129 the speed. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Zach Price got there first by 006, broke out by 003. Had about a 4-inch window to get in down there and couldn't quite make it. So Dan Parsons running for the money. Either Herman Chan or Jess Dale. Yesterday's winner is going to come back and run Curtis. The Green Boo. And they're going to figure it out down there. The Dodge drops back, but that thing's got a monster Mopar under the hood trying to push a little Chevrolet out, and 10.908 to win it. Both drivers missing the tree. Ain't nobody making the honor roll for that light. But Jess Dale, who yesterday said it was just my day, everything I did seemed to work, keeps it going and makes it to the semis. Curtis left, Jess right. Jess still alive for the back-to-back. Told us a heck of a story. We're talking about the driver of the Dodge over there in the right lane yesterday in the winner's circle. Said he had a flat tire. Stuck a plug in it. The plug came out. Stuck another plug in it. Had a buy run. Idled up, took the tree. Went back. Stuck another plug in it. Came up for the final round. And he absolutely was not sure if he could drive the thing down the racetrack. And he said, I want to win the race, but I certainly don't want to wreck the car. His opponent went red. Gave him all night to fix the tire. Well, now the tire's fixed, and now he's going back to the final round with a car that obviously ain't broke. 1091 beats a 1091. 10.917, 10.915. Only a couple thou apart in reaction time. The true margin to the stripe was 0.03 of a second. And Jess Dale is going to try to win again. He's going to take on Dan Parsons after Dan takes his free ride. And the free ride is a 1091. Final round set in Super Street.
Which will bring us to our final of the day. Our Super Street final. Dan Parsons taking on Jess Dale. And Jess Dale going 1090 with a 0 on the 1090. Jess Dale taking home the win in Super Street category today. Congratulations, Jess Dale. That was our final of the day. That means, folks, that we are done for the day, all finished up for the weekend. What a fantastic weekend of racing. We thank you all for coming out. thank you for sharing this weekend with us, and we hope that we get to see you soon. And everybody have a safe ride home.